Good evening. I'm sitting here at our kitchen bar on this Friday, April 24th, 2020, and I thought we'd have a little fun tonight. I'm sure some of you heard Governor Cooper's announcement yesterday that the current status quo with COVID-19 will remain in place till May 8th, and then we will begin to lift some of the restrictions and have a little more freedoms. We may even get to worship again together as a church family, and I hope that's true. Some of us are excited about that while still a little concerned. Hopefully we're not moving too fast, but we'll be praying about that. But then some of you also heard today Governor Cooper's new announcement that schools will remain closed across the state for the rest of this school year. And depending on who you talk to, the teachers or the students on either side, some are glad, some are sad. I know several teachers who are fairly depressed right now because they miss their students and they miss the engagement with their students, the interactions, just like I miss being with you in worship and in the ministry of Jesus Christ through the Wesleyan Chapel family. I was reminded as I heard of that announcement today, when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. And that's an old saying that's meant to inspire us that when life hands us trials and tribulations and troubles, we take those issues and those situations and we try to turn them into positives. That's hard to do when you're down in those trials and tribulations and troubles. The last thing you want to hear is a tired old cliche. I was reminded of being in the 9th grade, taking speech class. I was one of only 2 9th graders in that class with a bunch of upperclassmen because it was an upper class course, but I wanted to learn how to speak in public. And I remember one of the things we learned in that class was when you had to speak in public, a good tool to use was, if your voice felt scratchy or whatever, was to take a lemon and suck on it. That's good. To me, that's good. With all the allergies going around and my scratchy throat, I feel like my palate is cleansed, my vocal cords are clean and clear, and hopefully I'm not going to cough during the rest of this presentation. But anyway, I also thought about making lemonade. Don't you love good lemonade? And I had to ask my wife, how do you make lemonade? Because I've never made it. And she told me, you take lemons, just like this, and you squeeze them in a juicer just like this. Bear with me. Cut up another one here. I'm going to make it real lemony. Okay. Remember, this was my first time making lemonade, so don't be too harsh in your criticism. But anyway, we take that right off of there, I think. Yep, look at that. Perfect. Pour that in our glass. Then we add some water. Now, the challenge is to make a lemonade that tastes so great that people want to know your recipe. And this recipe is a little different. Instead of adding sugar, we're going to add salt. Remember, I'm from Saltville, Virginia. Salt is an important staple in our diet there. But we're going to add salt. Okay? That's our secret ingredient. Do you know why I'm thinking about that salt adding instead of sugar? Because we want to make a lemonade that is so tasty that other people really want our recipe. The reason I add salt comes from Matthew 5:13, where Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth, but if salt has lost its taste, how can its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything but is thrown out and trampled underfoot. I think what Jesus is saying there is that our challenge in life as Christ followers is, even in troubled times, such as those we're going through now, we live our lives in such a way that we're making lemonade, and other people see our lives and they want to know the what and the how, the recipe for our lemonade. And that gives us a chance to share with them the who, the great I am, Jesus, who walks beside us through all these trials and tribulations and difficult times and never forsakes us. A lemonade that's so irresistible, they just got to have that recipe. I am not a professional. Please do not try this at home. I love you. Have a good evening. Hang in there.